Welcome to Uncovering More, everyone. I'm Malhar Ambekar. On this summer weekend, we just thought to explore another different city outside London. There's definitely a lot to uncover in London itself, but we just thought, why not step outside and explore another city not too far away from London? Today, we are heading to Oxford, a historic city and a university town not too far away from London. Let's go.
We started our journey by taking the Chiltern Railways from Wembley Stadium station. You can certainly look out for options close by to your place from wherever you are, considering it's not too far away from London. We have now arrived at the Oxford station, and just the moment you step outside the station, you get a glimpse of as to how the city is. Primarily, as you can see over here, the State Business School, is located right outside the station itself, and which I think just gave us a glimpse that this is certainly an academically oriented city where a prestigious university is. Now we are walking towards the main Oxford University, and on your way, there's a different city. There's a different vibe to the city, and it's a quite a pleasant walk considering it's a bright summer weekend, and the weather's not too warm, I'd say, but also not too cold either. And it's a good walk, and it's got a different vibe. It's definitely far less crowded than London for sure, and it's got its own sort of a feel of being such a prestigious university. At the same time, the architecture has a very different sense to it and very different look and feel to it, and it certainly feels a lot different from any other city that you would have visited in the UK. The traffic isn't too much, and uh, it's quite nice. And over here, we thought we'd just visit the Oxford History of Science Museum. If you're particularly interested in history, science, technology, and at the same time Oxford's involvement in these areas of these disciplines, I would definitely recommend visiting the History of Science Museum. Oxford's contribution towards so many things in the past in the history is so remarkable and so interesting to know and to get a sense as to the level of research, the level of contribution towards science and technology that Oxford has always been part of. And I think that's quite remarkable, and you get a lot to learn from if you are a science geek. If you are somebody who's always interested in science and technology, I would definitely recommend visiting this particular museum, because you've got such a historically well preserved and well documented and well displayed things. For me, the eye catching and for me the most attractive sort of thing was Einstein's blackboard, and this was from one of the lectures Einstein had given when he had visited Oxford University. And they have remarkably preserved the blackboard on which Einstein had scribbled his equation, and also Oxford's contribution in the penicillin story. And there are several such elements of historical preservations and historical contributions, all the way from science, technology, astronomy, and it's quite interesting, and it's a lot to understand, know, and learn from. It was quite fascinating. And now we've stepped outside the university campus. That's the university library, which is also considerably old. So Oxford University is the oldest university certainly in the English speaking world. So even the architecture speaks volumes when we are here. That's the Radcliffe Camera Building. And if you want to know more about the Radcliffe Camera Building itself, as to the kind of technology and the kind of what it meant for the building and what it stood for, you can certainly get to know a lot about it from the science museum itself. That's the Christ College, and it's got a nice campus around itself as well. That's the famous bridge. It is certainly quite, the architecture is quite stunning, and I think it's different as well. The city overall itself is quite pedestrian friendly. It's got its emphasis on using bicycles and walking. We also visited this cafe, which was one of the oldest cafes over here, and it was quite nice, quite very well preserved, and it's quite a thing to be at there. So as I was saying, it's over here you can see there's an under construction building, or rather there's some renovation work that's taking place, but the way they've laid the barricading, the way they have preserved pedestrian walking, as well as given a glimpse of the history of the place, that's quite fascinating.
So it was my second trip to Oxford, and I think every time I visit Oxford, it's always something new that I uncover, and I feel it's still a remarkable city in terms of the sort of institutionalization of academics. And I think if you really want to visit, I again reiterate that if you really want to visit Oxford from an academic point of view, and if you really want to visit a university that's so remarkably old and considerably the oldest university in the English-speaking world, then Oxford is a must-go-to. And I think the way they've preserved their science and technology, the way, as we've seen in the National Science Museum, History of Science Museums, sorry, it's quite incredible. And be it Einstein's blackboard, be it the contribution towards penicillin that they have, be it their record towards astronomical history, and be it all those things. I think that's quite inspiring, the way they've preserved, the way they've curated that particular museum. So I think it's amazing, and there are these things that really make an impression on you when you exit Oxford. And I think there are small little other details as well from an urban perspective, is the use of cycles, the use of bikes or bicycles, if you may call it. uh, as you must have seen it in every clip, that there are a lot of people literally using this. And there is obviously a reliance on the public transport in terms of buses, but you still see people heavily being inclined towards using bicycles. And apart from that, there are, as we've seen, there was an under construction building, and the way they've kind of preserved, the way they've kind of structured structured the layout, and they've kind of made sure they put out history in terms of covering and barricading that thing, so that people not only get an understanding of what the building and what the area is about, but also it's in a sense preservation of the history and the culture and of the building that's been rebuilt or restructured in a way. So I think there are these little things that obviously are always a lot to learn from. And I feel whenever you're visiting a city, uh, as I've said in the earlier videos, you tend to go beyond the touristy approach, and you tend to see as to how they've kind of placed. Even this place that I'm sitting right now, it's literally in the middle of a street, which is, as you can see on my right side, you've just got a cycle track, and that's it. This entire street has been cordoned off for public seating, and it's quite amazing when you can sit here, just take a break, take a pause, and look around, pick something from the coffee shops, and just shoot your videos if you may. So I think that's quite amazing. So, although this is my second visit, I don't know how many more times I would love to visit Oxford. That's certainly because, as you know, I love to uncover more, and we'll be uncovering a lot more. not just for Oxford, but a lot of other places. So stay tuned and please do follow and please do share. See you soon.
So I also thought of sketching the Christ College building because that's really interested me when I was here, and I tend to do this a lot wherever I visit. You can certainly look out for my other works at Insatiable Substance, and I'll see you soon for the next one.